Aaron Van Slyke.
And I'm Alex Stamus.
And welcome to another episode of LCTV. We're going to start out with some news for you. As of February 2012, the one and only Lemoyne campus dining hall will innovate and become trayless. The Student Environmental Coalition, with collaboration from SGA or the Student Government Association, with assistance from Sodexo, has exiled the food tray phenomenon as a thing of the past. Stay tuned to LCTV to get the scoop on all your Lemoyne College news regarding the trayless changes and just what the Lemoyne student body really thinks.
Hi, I'm Megan Cashone, and I'm here at the Den to talk to students about what they think about Trayless Tuesdays.
Well, I think if it's giving the school the results I was looking for, that it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. I'm all about being eco-friendly, and I have to admit that I've never used a tray in the cafeteria before, and I don't see very many people use them, so I don't think it would affect a lot of people in a negative way.
I've never used trays, so it doesn't really affect me, but I think it's a good thing to do.
I personally like them. I rarely use trays anyway, so I mean, for me personally, it's a good thing. Not much of a change, so.
I think it's really nice. It's a good idea, but I think that they should probably either just commit to it fully and just make it all the time and just remove trays completely. So then it's not like people don't think like, oh man, it's Trayless Tuesday. It's such an inconvenience, because if there's no trays in the first place, then they don't have to worry about Trayless Tuesday, because it's like it's all the time, and they can't complain about that.
So you would rather it see every day instead of just once a week?
Well, yeah, I think that personally for me, I know that when it comes to Trayless Tuesday, I kind of angry because I'm just like, oh man, I can't use a tray today. But if it was every day a week, it was just a normal thing, then it would just become normal and you wouldn't be able to complain about it as much.
If they're going to do it one day a week, like Trayless Tuesdays, then I guess it'd be okay. But for them to do it like 7 days a week, no, I won't agree with that.
Check out on Monday the 20th at 10 a.m. in front of the new Den, in front of the Dolphin and WLMU offices, an exclusive interview with Executive Vice President of Ogilvy Public Relations Worldwide, Lisa Osborne-Ross. Ross has won multiple awards, including one of the top 5 industry leaders by PR Week, Women of the Year by Washington Women in Public Relations, and is known for her work for 2 terms with the Clinton White House with the U.S. Department of Labor. LCTV will be there in an exclusive press conference, so stay tuned for special footage of the event.
Looking for some entertainment this weekend or next? Check out the Lemoyne Boot and Buskins performance of These Shining Lives by Melanie Marnick in the PAC, playing Thursday through Saturday, February 16th and 18th, and February 23rd and 25th at 8 p.m. Directed by Bill Morris, These Shining Lives is about women in the American workforce in the 1920s. Check out lemoyne.edu for more information.
In more impressive Lemoyne news, the Lemoyne Pub is set for its grand opening this Thursday, February 23rd from 4 to 7. To check out pictures of the newly renovated pub before then, check out pictures on LCPB's Twitter for more information.
That's really exciting. We're finally getting a bar on campus.
It's probably the most exciting news I've heard for this campus in a long time.
I know.
To be honest.
Too bad for anyone who's underage.
What I want to know, I brought this up before the show, is can we use our lunch money there?
That's a really good question. I think we should get someone here to ask if we can use our lunch money there.
That'd be a good interview.
That would be a great interview with someone who actually knows about the pub and everything.
People would run out of lunch money in one weekend. It'd be
in one weekend.
It would be a profit maker for Lemoyne.
It really would. It's good for the economy to put it on lunch money. And in national news, to talk about Whitney Houston, as we all know, died. What are your thoughts about that? She died in her tub, and they did confirm that there was no foul play. It was that it was based on drug overdose.
Well, I mean, it's a sad thing. She was a great artist, great musician, but not to be mean about it, but I mean, she did it to herself. Yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not saying I don't have sympathy for her and for her family, but she did it to herself, and this just goes to show what drugs can do to you.
It's true. And you know, if you ever heard her singing, after we all know that she got into a lot of drugs, singing her old songs, they did not sound the same.
Yeah,
they have comparisons all online about, you know, how she sounded after everything. So it just goes to show, you know, just because you're famous doesn't mean you can do whatever you want.
Just get away with it, yeah.
But still sad news, though.
It is, regardless.
You know, she was important in culture.
A very big icon in
very
the music
big,
world,
but
for
still,
sure.
yes, agreed. Well, that's all for national and local news, and be sure to check out all those events that we mentioned. And coming up next is Sports Talk.
Sports Talk. I am Dan Snyder.
I'm Alex Stanis.
I'm Jeremiah Deep.
And I'm Matt Clark.
We're going to start with the NBA. Lynn Mania keeps on going.
The Berlin Wall refuses to fall.
Super Nintendo.
And the shoe fits for Lindarella.
Call him what you want. All he does is Lynn. New York, in case you don't know, New York Knicks starting point guard Jeremy Lin followed up another great performance last night with 27 points, hit the game-winning basket with less than 5 seconds to go to beat Toronto 90-87. Simple put, the Knicks are on a 6-game winning streak. They're on a tear, and Jeremy Lin is clearly the culprit behind this. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, personally, being a Knicks fan myself, I didn't want to buy into it right away because as a Knicks fan, you expect your good things to crumble. But, I mean, he's doing everything and anything to win the game. I mean, the 38-point performance against the Lakers was unheard of.
Right.
And then he puts up 27 last night, 12 of which coming in the fourth quarter, with 11 assists. I mean, the kid's doing it all. Simple as that.
Tebow-esque, if you will.
To an extent, yes.
To an extent. Matt, your thoughts?
You know, I don't think the city of New York has been this excited for a Knicks team since Whoopi Goldberg was coach. I mean, they really Jeremy Lin has brought a spark to the city that hasn't been there for a while. Even when Carmelo and Amari joined forces together, they really weren't able to put it together. They got swept out of the playoffs quickly by the Celtics. But this year, there's a legitimate hope that a deep playoff run could be possible.
Now, with Lin playing the way he is, Carmelo's coming back. Stoudemire was already back. Where do you think this takes them? Can they work as a trio? Do we have a big three in New York now?
Well, I think with Mike D'Antoni running this Phoenix Suns system, if Jeremy Lin can channel his inner Steve Nash and take 15 points and 10 assists a game, I think any Knicks fan, especially ball hawks like Stoudemire and Anthony, are going to be happy with that because they'll be able to get theirs as well.
Right. So, do you see this team being a playoff contender?
I think you always got to put the Knicks, as of right now, in the playoff contention because with stars like Amari and Carmelo, they can blow up any given night. So you have to put them in the conversation in the playoff run. You have to. Simple as that.
And also, we'll have to see what happens once Lin starts playing against the better point guards in the league because, say what you will about the teams that he's played against, but they're not the best in the league as far as point guards are concerned. In the playoffs, he's going to have to face the Derrick Roses and point guards of that caliber. And we'll have to see also how he plays with Carmelo and Amari to be able to fully get an opinion of how they'll do in the playoffs.
I think that Amari Stoudemire this is going to be an easy transition for him because he's used to Steve Nash. But the real interesting thing is, how's Carmelo going to play? He's the ball hog. He has to have the ball in his hands the whole time. Thing that they needed was a point guard. Now they got one. How's Amari going to adapt to that? And he's not going to have the ball in his hands all the time. He's still going to get his points, but he's not going to be the facilitator. That's going to be the big question. And if he can do that, I think this team could be one of the teams that could challenge the Heat. As ridiculous as that sounds now, nobody would ever think we'd be saying that. But with Lin there, if they can work the three of them together, I mean, they could. I'm not saying they're going to win the Eastern Conference, but I'm saying they could be a team that could challenge the Heat with some of the other teams down.
You still
like
got to remember,
Celtics.
Chicago's still in the picture here.
But
Boston,
Derrick Rose is hurting. Derrick Rose's back is ailing. Without him, they're done. If he's not 100%, they're out.
Right, so you got Chicago in the picture with an ailing Rose. Boston in the picture. Granted, they're old. They still have the experience to make it back. I can't really exactly rule out Orlando yet with Dwight Howard. I mean, he can basically run that team. Mm-hmm. A lot of questions in the NBA, a lot of questions in the Eastern Conference.
But the one thing I'll say is this. Dwight Howard, he's the only guy in that team. They don't have anybody else, really.
And he's not happy there either.
He's not happy. He wants to leave. Like I said, Derrick Rose, if he's not healthy, they're in huge trouble. And the Celtics, yes, they've been there before, but they're old. They got Rajon Rondo.
And we were all witness to the Bulls collapse this past postseason because Derrick Rose can only carry the team so far. When you come across a stacked team that plays well together like the Miami Heat, they're not going to win when it comes down to a 7-game series. And if they come across New York on a roll like this one, Derrick Rose isn't going to be able to carry the Bulls to the finals.
Definitely going to be an interesting rest of the season. Taking a kid, slept on couches.
Exactly.
Harvard graduate, slept on couches. Now he's lighting up Madison Square Garden for the Knicks. Moving on to the NFL, Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay made it clear this week that if Peyton Manning wants to come back with the Colts, he will be welcome. So does Irsay mean this, or is he trying to just not be the bad guy?
I think this is Irsay's way of saying, we are going to move on if you don't want to be here. It's his way of, it's what the Packers did with Favre. That's the way I'm seeing it. If you want to come back, you'll be here, but if you leave, don't expect to jump back in.
Because we can clearly say that Andrew Luck is a lock for this #1 pick.
Of course.
And if it's not him, it will be another quarterback, either in Robert Griffin III or who knows, maybe some other quarterback in the league can make a step up to that number 1 pick. But there will be a quarterback playing for the Indianapolis Colts, whether it be Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. We don't know who, though.
And also, there was a story reported today on SI.com that Manning had a 4th neck surgery at some point during the 2011 season, and that certainly doesn't bode well for the Colts bringing him back. But I'm sure as long as Dan Snyder's in the league, the Redskins will certainly be involved with potentially getting Manning, and maybe even the Jets getting Manning as well.
I heard maybe just the wild card team. I heard the Dolphins might have been interested.
Yeah, Dolphins, definitely. I think that this is kind of trying to put the ball into Peyton Manning's end. He's trying to say, okay, it's your decision, but I think ultimately he's going to have to leave, because if you're going to draft a quarterback like Andrew Luck or even Robert Griffin, they got to play right away. And Peyton Manning, why would he want to play somewhere where he knows a quarterback's looking over his shoulders?
Because he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's earned that right.
But,
the greatest regular season quarterback of all time.
But when he throws his first interception, you're going to be hearing the chants of Andrew Luck wanting to come into the game. So he's going to be under immense pressure. So I just think it's not a great situation for him or Andrew Luck, or the presumed number 1 pick, whoever that is.
Think of the great quarterbacks who have played under elite quarterbacks. Brett Favre had Aaron Rodgers under.
But that's the whole different situation. Aaron Rodgers is not elite when he came to the league.
Exactly. Who says Andrew Luck's going to be elite when he first comes to the league? I mean, he might ride the bench.
Almost every draft prognosticator has said he will be elite.
They can't pass him up. People are saying you have to draft this kid. If you have to draft him, then they're calling him the next Peyton Manning. Aaron Rodgers, the only reason why he's succeeding is because he sat behind Brett Favre and he had a chance to watch Brett Favre and to learn the system. If Aaron Rodgers went into his first season as a starter, I don't think he'd be a Super Bowl champion.
Well, it's a case-by-case basis, too, because look at Roethlisberger. He came in right away, took his lumps, led him to a 15-1 season, now he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. So it's a case-by-case basis for each quarterback. We'll just have to see how it works out for him.
And you also have to think there have been quarterbacks in the past who have been standout quarterbacks in college, haven't proven it in the NFL. Christian Ponder for the Vikings didn't really get his chances, but when he was given chances, didn't live up to expectations. Biggest bust in probably draft history, Chris Leak.
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf.
But
sorry.
Personally, an ideal scenario for Peyton Manning is, I think the Colts are committed to Andrew Luck. They can't have both on the same team. I think we can all agree on that. But imagine this: the Houston Texans, if they can get a healthy Peyton Manning on that team, what's stopping them from getting to the Super Bowl?
Andre Johnson on the outside, Owen Daniels in the middle.
Peyton Manning will fit in so well with that team, because Manning wants to go to a Super Bowl contender. He's not going to go to another team for his last 3 seasons, to a real rebuilding team like the Redskins. He's going to go to a Super Bowl contender, and the Texans are the perfect fit. They'll have Shaw backing him up, which is a pretty good backup, if you ask me.
They're paying him a lot of money to be the backup, though, too. I mean, they're paying him starters money.
They could just tell him 3 years, or they can trade him to help get Peyton Manning in. But the point is, if they can get a healthy Manning, keyword healthy here, if they can get a healthy Manning in under center in Houston, Houston is even more of a Super Bowl contender than they already are. Because Peyton Manning will take that offense and he'll not only exploit Andre Johnson, but he'll create weapons around him, because that's what he's been known for doing in Indianapolis. And he can do that very well in Houston, without a doubt.
Quick yes or no question, go around the table. Does Peyton Manning come back to the Colts next season? Jeremiah?
No.
I can't say he will.
No.
I also say no. Quick blurb about SU basketball, beating number 24 Louisville 52-51 over the past week. Very quickly, where do you see them going for the rest of the Big East, and where do you see them going in the NCAA tournament?
In SU, personally, I think they're a little bit overrated. I'm not going to take them out of the number 1 seed conversation. They'll probably have a number 1 seed, and I'm sure they'll go deep, but I just don't think they'll be able to contend with Kentucky, North Carolina. I think Duke could even give them a good shot, because we see Duke can make runs to win games that they did against the Tar Heels. If they're shooting hot from the 3-point line, they're going to kill you. SU, though, they have a chance to go deep, but they need to start being more consistent, in my opinion.
I'm just not sold on them. Like, they're going to be a number 1 seed probably. They're probably going to win the Big East. But I feel like every year, other than 2003, they're always that team that always finds a way to exit earlier than when they should.
So last year with Marquette.
Right. So until they prove to me that they can go on past the second or maybe even third round, I think that they can, and they have the potential to be a Final Four team. But as a fan, I mean, you can call me pessimistic. I just don't see it, because they haven't proven enough that they can go farther than the second and third round. In the past few years, that's how it's been. They were a number 1 seed a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and they think they went to the second or third round. That's it. So, that's how I feel.
This team, but the thing with this team is all games in March are close. And this team is winning the close, ugly, unwatchable games that happen in March. And that can only help the team down the road. And also Chris Joseph has stepped up, especially in the Georgetown game where he dropped 29, I believe there's 64 points. And made the big shot in overtime. So now they've figured out the number one guy, and Fab Melo's finally going back to class now. That it certainly bodes well for them because they're probably undefeated if he's in that Notre Dame game.
So SU probably a threat in this tournament.
Certainly are a threat.
Oh, you have to give them a threat.
Oh, yeah,
no question. They're a threat, but it's just can they handle?
They are an orange level threat.
Orange level threat, probably a number one seed. We'll see how that goes the rest of the way, and should be an exciting NCAA tournament as always. That about wraps it up for what we have on Sports Talk today. For Jeremiah, Alex, and Matt, I'm Dan Snyder. Thanks for watching.
Here at Lemoyne College, the Study Abroad program allows students the ability to learn in a different world, one much unlike the atmosphere at Lemoyne. Through the next few weeks, the Study Abroad department will be host to many informational sessions. But with us today, we have fellow Study Abroad student Patchy to inform LCTV viewers alike the process of studying abroad. So Patchy, what is your major here at Lemoyne?
I'm a psych major, and I'm a minor in art also.
Okay. What made you interested in studying abroad?
A lot of things, because I have a very international background, I guess. I guess that's what made me interested in it, because I'm from Spain originally, and I've also lived in Brazil. And also like living here, learning English, so I'm kind of, very international, and I like getting to know different cultures and learning about the people. So I think that's what made me go abroad to Italy.
All right. Would you suggest studying abroad to other students?
Definitely. I think it's a very enriching experience personally. Like it makes you, for me it was more of a personal, I kind of looked within myself to find myself more and learn things about me individually, also about other people, and if people like traveling especially, it's a really good thing to do. More than academically, I think it's more of a personal thing. So,
what was your opinion on the food? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah. I was in Italy, so I ate a lot of pasta, gnocchi especially. It was cool because we had to cook by ourselves because we lived in our own house. So we basically had to make the food ourselves. But if you go to Italy, all you eat is pasta, and really good pasta. And pizzas are really cheap too, so it's really, really good food.
Do you like it better there than here in America?
It's not. I don't think it's about liking better than. I think it's just different. I think every country has their own different special things about them. So you just have to be open to learn about it. America has its good things, and there's things in Italy that are good, and I think better than America, but as well as here, better than in Italy. So I think it just depends how you look at it.
Right. What kind of classes did you take there?
I decided to go to Florence because it was a very artistic place, and since Lemoyne is not a big art place, I decided to do my art classes. So I chose a program that was fit for me and something that wasn't so much at Lemoyne. You know what I mean? So so I decided to focus on my art background and go to a place where I could do that. So for someone who goes abroad, I think that's what they should do. Go for something that they can't find here, and also get to know it through that. So
that's good. How different is the schooling in that of a European country?
For me, my experience, I was in a very American-involved place. I think Florence is very international, so we weren't really in classes with Europeans, but I know in Spain, for example, a school is much more, the structure is much more rigid, I think. In a way it's more difficult because they only have one exam, and if you fail that one exam, you're done, you don't pass. So I think it's just a different structure, which in a way I don't think it's the best structure. Also, people have to know what they're studying. before they get to college. They can't change their minds. They have to know what they're doing. So it's very much a strict way of looking at your future. So, yeah.
What was one thing you wished you could have changed about your experience?
One of the things I wish I could have changed about my experience would have been, I wish I was in a more, not a little bit less international place and more Italian, so that I could have learned the language better, because everyone would speak English to me. So it wasn't very, I couldn't really learn the Italian that I wanted to really learn. But so I guess I would have liked to be in a place where I could have spoken Italian and gotten to know the culture even farther. So.
Okay, well, thank you for being with us today. For more information about the Study Abroad program here at Le Moyne, contact the Study Abroad office or check out lemoyne.edu for more information.